Mikasa Sukasa. You Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Look like Eddie Guerrero, man. You like to watch wrestling?
Yep.
Have you ever watched wrestling? On weed? That's the way to see it, man! It's rock!
What up, world? It's April 22nd. Welcome to another Wild News Joint. It's your boy PHZ-Sicks. Thank you for being here. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I thank you for that. On today's episode, we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW's Forbidden Door, and what we can see from it. We're giving you a Kenny Omega update, as well as what's the name of the game for AEW, and more right after this.
Really? This is my yard now. It doesn't matter what
Welcome back, Wild Nation. You're watching this on a replay. Make sure to leave a comment. I definitely will hit you back up if you have any questions or any comments about what's going on today in the world of wrestling. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And here we go. It's official. AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door is happening on June 26th at the house that Michael Jordan built, the United Center. So, what fans should expect, however, is something unlike the Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Supercard that took place in Madison Square Garden on WrestleMania 35 weekend, which, caused a lot of hell because of the ladder match with Jay Lethal hitting a fan and then Enzo doing stupid stuff. But we ain't talking about that. We're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling versus AEW, where that card was largely comprised of Ring of Honor versus Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling versus New Japan Pro Wrestling matches. Dave Meltzer writes in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that the Forbidden Door matches are expected to be inter-promotional. AEW wrestlers are likely to face against New Japan Pro Wrestling counterparts because the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door pay-per-view event is scheduled for June in Chicago. Dave Meltzer speculated it might make the most sense for AEW to forego their tradition of scheduling All Out in Chicago and instead book it at a stadium like Toronto. Now, since he already has a stadium in mind and he didn't pick anything here, he went to America's Hat to pick Toronto, which kind of means that it was put in this here by Tony Khan that Chicago's not getting it all out this year. Chicago's getting a Forbidden Door. And here we go. We've been talking about this since last Friday, since it kind of started leaking that this was going to be a possibility. And all of the news about, they're bringing up the interview Okada had with Sports Illustrated back in January. That was a whole few months ago. It was like, why are they bringing this up? Because it was going to happen and they needed to start building the hype train, even though it wasn't official. Everybody's excited. It's going to be an exciting pay-per-view. They're going to do their numbers. United Center is most likely going to be sold out. I mean, right now, what is I think May 14th. I won't be in town, but New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming to DC, and that is almost sold out. I think there's only like 20 to 30 seats left, so they're going to do well at the United Center. They're bringing in a lot of star power, and Tony Khan is doing amazing things. What Tony Khan should stop doing is making these huge announcements like a big part of AEW's branding every week on Dynamite. Because right now, and I feel like he's doing it because he wants to make sure that he can hit that 1 million. I feel like that's his mark. That's his minimum. And for the last 4 weeks this year, they are in a longest streak of under 1 million viewers. And I think because people just kind of are getting tired of the Circus Barker act, which, it is an act. This is a whole circus when it comes to pro wrestling, but they just want to watch something good and not be bombarded with Tony Khan every week. I wonder what Layla is saying what to. Are you saying what to the Washington DC New Japan Pro Wrestling thing? I feel like maybe you didn't know about that. The Capital Collision, May 14th. Yeah. So they still got some tickets up. So, I mean, you definitely should hit that. I will be in Atlanta during that time period. So I will not be here. And I'm going to unfortunately miss the New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming to our part of town. And we're missing it. Yeah, May 14th. So look forward to that May 14th at the where the Mystics play. Where is that place called? I can't even remember the name. The what's that spot called? I think it's like the Entertainment Center or something like that. But yeah, the Entertainment and Sports Arena, Washington D.C. New Japan Pro Wrestling Capital Collision, May 14th. But back to it's gonna be exciting. I really feel like it's probably gonna be CM Punk versus Okada. I feel like they have to be in talks about Daniel Bryan doing G1. That is Daniel Bryan's that is on his list of things to do. He almost signed back with WWE because they gave the okay that, hey, if you want to do the G1, you can, which, something they would never give anybody else unless Cody has it or something, but they were willing to give him that. Which something just sparked in my mind. I'll go on a tangent later about what WWE can do for something like that. But if you want to save Daniel Bryan for the G1 and have Daniel Bryan look great in the G1 and get near the finals and possibly do Wrestle Kingdom, we're right there, because usually, the person that comes in the second place at Wrestle Kingdom goes for, the IWGP Intercontinental. So they'll be in good hands. So here we go. Gruss says, I got to be honest, New Japan Pro Wrestling is boring. And I got to be honest, you're wrong. But that's what makes you the supervillain of the IWC, because you don't know any better. And it's just where you are. You're Russell Westbrook. It's just what you do. It's just what you do. I mean, the greatest wrestler in the world right now is in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as long as you know that is a fact, that's all that we need to know. But it's gonna be there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Shingo versus Daniel Bryan, because you already have Tomohiro Ishii already here. He's already doing things for Eddie Kingston. He has a match tonight on Rampage. So I would say, Minoru Suzuki, I feel like you kind of have to put them to the back, since they already been here and they already been doing stuff with New Japan Pro with AEW. You got to allow everybody that hasn't been here. And of course, Kota Ibushi was online and basically told everybody he wants the best in the world. So I think it might be that Kota Ibushi versus Bryan Danielson. I think that's what it might be. But we have a ton of dream matches. You got Who is Sonata facing? I have no idea. Last time I checked, Sonata was hurt, but maybe he's not hurt anymore. Because I know they have taken him off of a few things due to that some type of injury. But I have no idea who Sonata's facing. I know they kind of moved him out of the championship way because they didn't know what they were going to do with him, unfortunately. But Sonata, he vacated 2 weeks ago, vacated the IWGP United States title because he had an injury. So I don't know if he's back yet. So I don't know if Sonata's facing anybody. And Ospreay ended up defeating him by referee stoppage to advance. So, yep, just where we are right now. But it's going to be interesting to see where we go. And that's where I agree. Now, that tangent I had on. Now, and this is a you thought comment, and that's all we're going to say about that. Now, we all know WWE was going to give the okay for Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan at the time, to go over to New Japan Pro Wrestling to do his thing. Now, there's a person that they're going to try to push as the greatest of all time. And other than holding the belt for a very long time, I think the other smart thing they could do is allow him to be the one to do Forbidden Door stuff, to then push him to be even bigger. Now, I doubt they would do this, but if I had Vince's ear, since everybody feels like I work with him, if I had Vince's ear, I would go, hey, how would you feel if Roman Reigns did the G1 Climax? Allow him to go to New Japan for a whole month, like a month and a half, do his thing, talk to New Japan of either having him win it or come in second, and then have him at have him at Wrestle Kingdom, and then do another thing. Rather than having day one, because that seems like that's going to be their new pay-per-view, push it back a bit. Like, it doesn't have to be on January 1st. Push it back a bit. Allow Wrestle Kingdom to happen, and then just re-air the Wrestle Kingdom match on the day one pay-per-view. And then it's a super thing, because you have WWE versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, most likely be Okada versus Roman Reigns, and then you go from there. That's like, if you want to stop all the greatness of Tony Khan and things like that, that's how you do it. and you send your biggest person, or you send your other biggest person, and that's John Cena, since he is a break glass in case of emergency. You send him over, but he can't do anything for that long. You can send Roman Reigns over. Roman Reigns being away can allow everybody to be super fresh. And you're going to have Roman Reigns be like, you know what? I did everything I needed to do here. I'm getting bored. Let me take my talent somewhere else. And he takes his talent to New Japan. And Lalo says he got a window. I don't think he has to win, because then he has to Intercontinental. Like, as long as there's a possibility he comes back with a belt. And I feel like that would be the biggest thing. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, New Japan feels like they're tied to AEW. No, they don't. New Japan Pro Wrestling is doing what's best for them. They're trying to expand into the US. So eventually, AEW is going to be somewhat of a competitor to them. They're not yet. They're doing their friend and foe thing. They're going a little back and forth. But but for them, what's best for business is to guarantee that somebody like a Roman Reigns comes, because then that just pushes everything up. And it gets eyes that usually wouldn't not be watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, because between AEW and WWE, WWE has the most faithful fans. Most of their fans, as we talked about with the demographics, are over 50 years old. When you're over 50 years old, you have a thing of, I'm watching this every week. That's why their numbers really don't go too far. They only go up when more 18 and 34 are watching. When that happens, they're killing it. When it's not happening, they're still around 1 million or so. So that's just a huge amount of people that are, if they're Roman Reigns fans, that are going to watch it. But hey, let's focus on what's actually happened as New Japan Pro Wrestling versus AEW, and let's move to the next segment, which is Kenny Omega and what's going on with him. Now, with Double or Nothing around the corner, as well as the Forbidden Door, will the cleaner be showing up soon? Well, Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer heard that Kenny Omega most likely won't be back in AEW in time for Double or Nothing pay-per-view in late May. That doesn't rule him out for the Forbidden Door. I feel like if Kenny is going to come back, him coming back for the Forbidden Door would be great. I would say if he's going to do it, have him show up in Japan. Lights go out. He's there. Shingo's in the ring. Give that man a knee, V-trigger him, one winged angel, match started, see you in June. I feel like that would be the case. But when it comes to Double or Nothing, do not expect to see Kenny Omega there. And it's possibility we won't see him at AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I feel like would kind of piss Kenny off if he's not a part of it at all. Think that would be an issue for him because of his ties to New Japan Pro Wrestling, him seen as one of the greatest foreigners to ever wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and having their first big thing between AEW and New Japan, and he's not involved, I feel like would just be too much. So that's where we are with that. Chris has, did you hear what Booker T said about AEW Dark recently? No, but is it the whole, if you're on AEW Dark, it's a demotion? I feel like that might be the case. Did that one? Hell yeah, it's a demotion. Tell me you did not say that. Hello, Chet Black. Yeah, I think if that's the case, then yeah, I saw it, and I mean, he's not that far from it. I get it. Every now and then they throw a bone at AEW Dark, and they're both like, the Young Bucks are there. It's like, Young Bucks are EVPs. They don't really bother them. They're gonna be on TV if they want to be on TV. What he said, hell yeah, it's a demotion. I know that's going to get picked up, but hell yeah, it's a demotion. Damn it, I'm not working on Dark. For me, working on Dark, which is a show that is only on the internet, should be for the young guys coming up. I didn't come from Big How, no pun intended, which I am talking about WWE. I didn't come from WWE to come to AEW to work Dark. So yeah. And basically, like if you're on velocity or heat, no, he's not wrong. That's basically it. Like I said, AEW Dark, they throw people a bone every now and then. The people that are always on TV and they end up on AEW Dark, but they do it so people can watch AEW Dark. It's the reason why a lot of people feel like AEW Dark is probably going to get rebranded, turned into Ring of Honor, so that they can kind of have. And they've already stated Ring of Honor is going to be where development happens. You're just going to have people like Samoa Joe and most likely Keith Lee and Jay Lethal being a part of it. But just look who, Samoa Joe's rival is going to be. Santam Singh. This is a dude that is not a wrestler, former NBA player, international basketball player. Now he's going to be wrestling, and now his first big feud is with Samoa Joe. And it's most likely everything we're going to see is most likely going to happen in Ring of Honor. So it's just where we are right now with AEW Dark. I don't see it lasting any longer. I feel like Ring of Honor is going to take place with that, since we haven't heard anything about a TV deal. They just got off of Sinclair Broadcasting System. It just looks like that's the route we're going as far as what's going to happen with AEW Dark. And then the younger ones are going to do their thing. And only on pay-per-views will we see, a lot of crossover between AEW and Ring of Honor. Now, for our last segment, we officially had the name for the AEW video game. Nearly a month ago, AEW filed to trademark the phrase AEW Fight Forever. Wrestling fans widely assumed that to be the name of All Elite Wrestling's upcoming console video game. Tony Khan confirmed this assumption after Dynamite went off the air in Pittsburgh. Khan spoke to the audience and told them they were going to be recorded as part of the video game, which he referred to as Fight Forever. Justin Roberts then led the crowd into chants for various AEW stars such as Adam Cole, Sting, Aubrey Edwards, and FTR. So, AEW Fight Forever. Are you excited by that name? I would say no. But at the end of the day, the name is not what matters. What matters is how does the game play. That's all that matters. And we're going to see what we saw early on made the game seem very fluid-wise arcade-ish, because when it comes to somewhat simulation wrestling, there's like a heaviness to it of how people wrestle, how they throw punches, how they walk, they stumble around. Everything just seems super fluid and a little arcadey, so they might be going for that vibe, but we will see. Gruss says with Cody Rhodes being AEW game. Nope, not anymore. He would not be in that game. But let's talk some quick hits. A source told Ringside News that rumors of John Cena returning to WWE in late June are not true. However, Cena is always on call for a WWE return in an emergency situation. So he's only one call away, like his name is Chingy. According to the New York Post, SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee is in talks with Amazon for a role in their coverage of Thursday Night Football. There are also discussions about airing the Pat McAfee show on Prime Video. So there's a possibility. We only got Pat McAfee for a limited time. Have him for a good time, not a long time. So enjoy all the antics of Pat McAfee as we can. Because I feel like if he gets that role, we probably would not be seeing him on SmackDown anymore. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer discussed plans for the Raw Women's title scene, saying Sonya Deville is being used because WWE didn't want to return to Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair so soon after WrestleMania 38. He also speculated that Deville's challenge is happening on Raw, so the newly healed Rhea Ripley can enter a program with Belair soon, and we already know how great Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, RR versus BB has been in the past, and I'm looking forward again. They could fight forever as long as I'm here. They could fight forever. According to Fightful Select's 420 reporting, WWE is no longer filing talent who test positive for marijuana under their wellness program. Supposedly, they haven't done it for years. And if you looked on the day of 420, there was an RK Bro shirt that popped up, of course, with the RK Bro hat, the snake. That said RK Bro 420, which means I just smoked your ass. Of course, there was a lot of greenery image in there, and it just came out like, hey, they haven't been doing weed for years. So if anybody gets hit on the wellness on a wellness program, it is never for weed. It's from other substances. And if it's any type of weed, it's synthetic weed, which is stuff like, K2 and all of that. So, I mean, if you get hit for that, you probably should be. So, yeah, they haven't. All weed is good in the WWE or the WWE, if you want to call it that. So, they're wrestling on weed over there. And no wonder MVP is enjoying himself. I'm surprised RVD hasn't made his way back over there. According to Sean Rossap, Darius Martin is sidelined with an injury again. The only detail we can share is he's expected to miss quite a bit of time. Congrats to Killer Cross and Scarlett, who eloped on top of a glacier in Alaska. And the last one, WWE won't tape an episode of SmackDown on their upcoming tour of the UK and Europe. Says Fightful instead, they'll tape the April 29th edition in Albany, New York, after the live broadcast of this Friday's show. Speaking of this Friday's show, let's talk about what's going on in the world of wrestling. Tonight, WWE SmackDown on Fox will air live from the MVP Arena in Albany, New York, with more build for WrestleMania Backlash. Like I just stated, WWE is set to tape the WrestleMania Backlash go-home edition of SmackDown tonight, which will be the May 6th show. They're taping that episode ahead of time because they will be in London next Friday on April 29th. WWE has announced the following lineup for tonight. Madcap Moss versus Angel, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn in a lumberjack match. The rivalry between Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro and SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Usos heat up, roll up, smoke it. Ronda Rousey and undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns are scheduled to be back after missing last week. And let's move on to Rampage. The April 22nd edition of AEW Rampage was taped earlier on Wednesday from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tonight's card is Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii in a qualifier for the Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament. Sean Spears will be out there for commentary. Lance Archer versus Serpentico. Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia. And an AEW TBS Championship match, pinning the champ Jade Cargill against the 4-horsewoman Marina Shafir. Jade will be going for her 30th win. If you want to know what's going down and what's going on this past week and what we thought about it, make sure to tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST, like Bianca Belair for Laylo, Two-Face, Trav to break down everything that happened over the week. Till then, enjoy yourself. I won't be able to make the show. I'm apartment hunting. I'm almost there. And then you won't see me for a little bit because I got to set everything up in the new place. But till then, you will see me Monday, Wednesday, and next Friday. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with me. And I thank you for that. Enjoy some wrestling this week. Enjoy yourself this week. And go Suns.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live next. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling on Weed, and thanks for watching.